I never imagined I would be the one standing alone while my own family chose my ex over me. For years, I believed love meant loyalty, and loyalty meant family. But the night I packed my bags and walked out of the life I thought was mine, I learned how quickly those promises can disappear. My name is Sarah, and until recently, I thought I had everything figured out. I had a husband, a supportive family, and a future that felt safe and predictable. I worked as a school counselor, helping other people fix their problems, while believing my own life was steady enough to never fall apart. My husband, Daniel, and I had been married for 8 years. We met in college, grew up together, and built a quiet, comfortable life. He was charming, ambitious, and the kind of man my parents admired. My mother loved to say, "Daniel is the son we never had," and my father treated him like a business partner instead of just a son-in-law. I thought that meant I was lucky. At first, our marriage felt solid. We shared routines, inside jokes, and plans for the future. We talked about buying a bigger house and starting a family. But over time, something shifted. Daniel started coming home late, always claiming he had extra work. He stopped asking about my day. His phone was never out of his hand, and whenever I walked into the room, he would turn the screen away. I told myself I was being paranoid. Everyone goes through stressful phases, I thought. But the silence between us kept growing, and the warmth we once had slowly faded into polite conversations and forced smiles. One evening, he sat across from me at the kitchen table, his hands folded tightly together. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "I think we need some space," he said quietly. Those words hit me harder than I expected. I asked him if I had done something wrong, if there was someone else, if we could fix whatever was broken. He shook his head and said he just needed time to think. I wanted to believe him, so I let him leave. A week later, he moved out, taking half his clothes and all the certainty I had about my life. At first, my family was there for me. My mom brought over home-cooked meals, my dad checked in every evening, my younger brother, Amir, stayed on the phone with me late at night so I wouldn't feel alone. They told me I was strong and that everything would be okay, but their support felt different after the truth came out. A friend from Daniel's office messaged me one night saying she had seen him with another woman. Not just a casual coffee, but dinner, laughter, and the kind of closeness that doesn't come from strangers. When I confronted Daniel, he simply didn't deny it. He said, "It just happened." That sentence hurt more than any lie could have. The woman's name was Emily. She was younger, confident, and worked with Daniel. I expected my family to be angry for me, to cut him off, to defend me the way families are supposed to. Instead, they started acting strangely calm about it. My mother said, "People make mistakes." My father said, "What matters is moving forward." Amir stopped mentioning Daniel altogether. I told myself they were just trying to keep the peace. Then one afternoon, I went to my parents' house without calling first. When I opened the door, I heard laughter in the living room. Daniel's laugh, Emily's soft voice, my mother's familiar tone. They were sitting together like nothing had ever happened, like I had never existed in that space. My chest tightened as I asked what she was doing there. My mom smiled awkwardly and said they were just getting to know her. I felt like the ground had disappeared beneath my feet. From that moment on, I realized I wasn't just dealing with a breakup. I was dealing with a family that had quietly chosen sides. At every gathering, Daniel and Emily were there. My parents treated them like honored guests. Emily wore my old seat at the dinner table. Conversations flowed around me like I was invisible. When I tried to express how much it hurt, my mom told me to let go of my anger. My dad said, "Holding on to the past won't help you." No one asked how I was really doing. The final moment came during a family dinner when my father raised his glass and said, "We should all move forward with peace." Daniel sat beside Emily, smiling politely. My mother nodded in agreement. I looked around the table and realized no one was looking at me. No one was choosing me. Later, when I asked my mom what I meant to them now, she hesitated before answering. That hesitation felt louder than any words. That night, I went home, packed a small bag, and left. I didn't cry in front of anyone. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just walked away from the house that no longer felt like mine. As I drove to a small apartment I had rented in secret, my phone stayed silent. No messages, no apologies, no one checking if I was okay. I told myself the hardest part was over. But just as I set my bag down on the empty floor and tried to breathe again, my phone rang. The number was unfamiliar, and my heart started racing as I answered it. What I heard on the other end would change everything. When I answered the call, a soft, nervous voice said my name. It was Emily. For a moment, I considered hanging up, but something in her tone stopped me. She sounded scared, not confident like she usually did. She told me she had found something on Daniel's laptop, something he had never intended for me to see. My hands shook as I asked her what it was. She explained that Daniel and my father had been working together on a business deal, a big one that involved money that wasn't actually theirs. My father had been managing a trust my grandmother left for me, and instead of protecting it, he'd been using parts of it to fund his projects. Daniel found out and offered to stay quiet in exchange for my family's support. Suddenly, everything made sense. My parents didn't just forgive Daniel for leaving me, they needed him. And Emily wasn't just a new partner, she was part of the arrangement, even if she hadn't known it at first. Emily told me she felt guilty and couldn't be part of it anymore. She said I deserved the truth. When the call ended, I sat on the floor in silence, trying to process the fact that my family hadn't just chosen my ex emotionally, they had chosen him strategically. For 2 days, I didn't respond to anyone. My mom texted asking if I was okay. My dad left voicemails saying they missed me. Daniel sent long messages apologizing for everything. I ignored them all. Instead, I contacted a lawyer and told him the full story. He reviewed the documents and confirmed what Emily had said. My inheritance had been misused, and I had every right to take control of it. For the first time since my marriage ended, I felt something shift inside me. I wasn't just hurt anymore. I was determined. A week later, my parents invited me to dinner, saying they wanted to fix things. I agreed, not because I wanted reconciliation, but because I wanted clarity. When I arrived, Daniel and Emily were already there. Emily avoided my eyes, and Daniel looked nervous. My mother tried to act cheerful, serving food and making small talk like nothing had changed. My father raised his glass again, talking about peace and moving forward. This time, I didn't stay silent. I calmly asked my father how much of my inheritance he had used for his business. The room went still. My mother's smile disappeared. My father tried to explain, but his words fell apart. Emily stood up and admitted she had seen the financial records. Daniel looked shocked, like he hadn't expected her to speak. I told them I'd walked away because I thought I wasn't enough, but now I knew I had simply been inconvenient. I wasn't emotional, I wasn't loud. I was clear, and that clarity made them uncomfortable. I left the house without waiting for a response, knowing the truth was finally out in the open. That night, my phone started ringing nonstop. My parents were panicking. Daniel was begging for forgiveness. They had lost their control over the situation, and suddenly they needed me again. But I wasn't the same woman who quietly accepted being replaced. I had my own power now, and I wasn't afraid to use it. The next morning, I met my lawyer and officially took control of my trust. The consequences were immediate. My father's business struggled without the money he had been using. My family's perfect image started to crack. My mom came to my apartment in tears, saying they never meant to hurt me. I listened calmly, but I didn't offer comfort. I told her that intentions didn't erase impact. They had chosen what was easy, not what was right. Daniel sent messages saying he felt trapped and confused, that he never meant to lose me. I didn't reply. Emily sent one final message saying she was leaving him and thanked me for my strength. I wished her well and closed that chapter of my life. Weeks passed, and the silence became peaceful instead of painful. I decorated my apartment, focused on my work, and slowly found myself again. Amir called one night to apologize for not standing by me. I forgave him, but I didn't forget how alone I had felt. One afternoon, my father called and said they missed me. I told him I missed the family I thought I had. The truth was simple. They didn't lose me because I walked away. They lost me because they chose wrong. And walking away wasn't weakness. It was the first step toward my freedom.
After everything settled, life didn't suddenly become perfect. It became quieter. The kind of quiet that feels strange at first, like a room after everyone has left. I still woke up some mornings expecting a message that never came. I still reached for my phone out of habit, but the silence no longer felt heavy. It felt honest. One evening, as I was organizing the last few boxes in my apartment, I found an old notebook from my college days. Inside were dreams I had written long before I became someone's wife, someone's daughter, someone's safe choice. I had forgotten how much I used to believe in myself. Reading those pages reminded me that I had always been strong, even before anyone noticed. A few days later, my mom sent a short message. Not an apology, not an excuse, just 3 words. I miss you. I stared at the screen for a long time. I didn't feel angry anymore. I didn't feel desperate either. I felt steady. So I replied with something simple. I hope you're okay. That was enough for now. My brother, Amir, started calling more often. We talked about normal things. Work, movies, life. He never pushed me to forgive. He just listened. And for the first time, I felt like someone truly heard me. One afternoon, I sat at a cafe by myself, watching people pass by the window. Couples laughed, friends shared stories, families walked hand in hand. I realized I wasn't jealous. I wasn't broken. I was just in a new chapter, one that didn't need approval from anyone else. The truth is, walking away didn't make me weak. It made me aware. Aware of my worth, aware of my boundaries, aware of how much peace matters. Some people stay in your life because it's comfortable. Others leave because you stop being convenient. And that's okay. I didn't lose my family that day. I found myself. And for the first time in a long time, that felt like more than enough.